Okay, today is June 16, 2022. This is my tale of woe. This is my 1997 Nissan Maxima SE. 3-liter V6, 5-speed manual gearbox. One of the most fun cars I have ever driven. I'm not a front-wheel drive guy, but this thing's been a blast. My tale of woe. Too many projects. I drove this from December 2011 somewhere only to about December 2012 according to my records. Put about 30,000 miles on it. Life circumstances made me bring it off the road because I couldn't afford the insurance and too many vehicles. And anyhow, it's painted in that white pearlescent whatever. Since it's been sitting around, unfortunately the paint has started to go in different places. When I got it, I had so in June had new tires, new struts, I think the left-hand drive axle was replaced, some other stuff. I have a list of all the records that were, all the parts and when they were put in and the whole deal, so we'll go over that. But just gonna give a quick look around here. Well, I think it'll be so quick. The good, the bad, and the ugly, as they say. It's one of the most beautiful cars I've ever seen. 4th gen Maxima. I did a lot of research before I bought this to see exactly which one I wanted. A 4-door sports car. This thing's great. Ay, caramba. So anyway, let's open the doors. No, the doors are locked, aren't they? Let's lock the doors first. Okay, so first, 1 click, 2 clicks opens the back doors, and of course puts the windows down. Walking around the back, we got the key fob. Unlocks the trunk. Punch carpeting doesn't look so spectacular. It's got little stains on whatever. The factory jack and the accoutrements are in there. The handle and the tire wrench keeps your butt back up in there. Got that. Spare tire. I don't think it's ever been used. It's got some rust in here, which I did not do anything about because I'm sure somebody wants to clean up and paint. There's a little bit of rust on the lug thingies. I just sprayed some WD-40 on that. You got the big Bose speakers. I don't know what that thing's. Pop them loose. As far as I know, got no leaks in there, which is kind of amazing. I don't think the 3rd brake light works. I put another antenna in it. It has this little seal popped out here. I never really noticed any water anywhere. That seems to be sealed up or addressed. Both these little filler thingies have got a little rust on them. I said the paint has gotten away from it. It used to be real nice. I can use to clean those things up. I replaced the hood. The only thing that used to have rust on this was the hood, so I put another one on it out of a junkyard. You'll notice along here, however, there's no adjustments on the brackets. So the hood needs to come over a little bit, which the only thing I can think of is to route out the holes on the brackets on the car itself, and so you can shift it a little bit there. We'll take a look at that in there in a minute. Tires were new at one point, of course, 30,000 miles, but as you can see now, they are dry rotted. The brake rotors are all shot due to rust sitting around too much. This car's set for, I guess I haven't had it on the street for 10 years now. I used to drive it once a month at least, tried to drive it once a week. I got it up here in 2017 and started working on it to get it back on the road. And there's lots of videos on my YouTube channel here. A little rust on there. I should clean it up. I didn't do a detail on it, do the rugs or anything. The front seats have been replaced because I had leather seats and they were getting pretty nasty. I still have the leather seats. We'll go with it if you ever want to redo them. I realized just recently, as in 2 days ago, that I should have got the back seat to match the front seats. Went back to the junkyard, one of the 3 junkyards I went to, and checked all the cars, and it's not there. So it's in Clearwater or Largo at LQK, the car that I got those out of here, because this is what's happened if you let it sit in the sun. So, also wrinkly, but this all works. The pass through. The kids used to climb through that. So actually the carpet looks pretty good. Those front seats look a heck of a lot better than everything the old ones did. Got the grab handles. The headliner's pretty decent. I'll have to get in here and start it up, but of course the reason she's being sold is that I can't start it. I've done a bunch of work on it. As we'll see in the I'll just start talking here. The last thing was done, I had to replace the ECU because it had been corrupted, as they said. Sent it out and got another one, took it to a dealer, had ECU reflash, which was successful. Unfortunately, when they started it, there was something that I had forgotten about. There was a clanking in the right of the engine, and it turns out the timing chain has come apart or something, because it's clanking around in there, and it just immediately quit on them. So in this case, the tachometer does not work. It needs to be redone. But let's see. The antenna's coming up. Sunroof works. Ew, that leaves. That leaves nothing. I believe that's rust. Right up along there. I have never seen that before, but I have not had this thing open in a long time. So, mechanism works. Looks like there's some work to be done on there too. Oh boy, that's nasty looking. Wow, I had no idea. Like I said, the electric antenna, our antenna works. I just replaced that here within the next, within the last year too. I was working on it. It's got a AM/FM CD player with Bluetooth. It's got a microphone in here for using the phone. I have rebuilt this little gizmo here. There's a video on the channel, shows you what I did there. It needs a shifter boot, and probably a shifter if you really want to. But that now works still. And it's got the 12-volt little tap in there, and a little gizmo, and what's in there? Yeah, owner's manual. I guess I gotta go through there. Owner's manual and a little thingy, and there'll be whatever the little bulbs and stuff that go with it in there. So in here, that's about what we're looking at, and you see the tach's lost its mind. It's got 193,200 miles on it. Yeah, let's leave that in there. Let's see. Let's see. Ow. Check the lights. Our markers, headlights. Where's my froggers? I just replaced those frog lights. So somewhere, everything worked in here. The cruise control, everything was fine. Let's see. I should turn the fog lights on. Well, fog lights are working. I'm not sure what the deal. They're not on right at the moment. Anyway, I replaced those as well. So, Alright, well, let's go under the hood. Sorry about that. I might hit my 10-minute limit, I guess. Alright, I put new hood struts on it since I've had it. The battery was done in January of 21. It's got a Canon air filter in it. The last, since I've been up here, it's got a new fuel pump, new fuel filter, set of reman fuel injectors, new pressure regulator, new NOx sensor, both crankshaft position sensors, camshaft position sensor. In that last 30 miles, did the alternator, put a new radiator in it, just put these mounts on it. I try to keep buttons, all the little buttons that are always missing. Every time I go to junkyard, or if I can figure out the new ones, I get them. Just did the valve covers, cleaned this up, painted it. It's done in black wrinkle finish, so it didn't really wrinkle that much. Everything, I put windshield wipers on it not too long ago. So it's I'm facing a situation where I've got to move. I don't have the time. My plan was to drive this out of here, so I had it licensed and registered, and the thing I got blindsided by something slapping around in there. So someone put an engine in it, take it apart and find out what's wrong with it, or put an engine in it, or upgrade it to a 3.5 liter, make a super sleeper, whatever. It's heartbreaking. I never intended to let this thing go. I plan on keeping this thing forever. It never used to have rust except for the hood. So I replaced the hood, but then I was noticing somewhere up here, it just developed there, some rust. See right here, there's 2 holes. So I have a piece of steel angle channel that I was gonna cut all this out of here and weld it across that area. I will include that with it as well. Just don't have the time. So this should make a great car for someone. I wish it was me, but life circumstances are making it, so I gotta let her go. Alright, I'll show you all the stuff we got. Extras that go with her. Note on the seats, they are powered seats. However, the one thing that they do not have is the heating elements in them as the original. So we do have the heating system in there, but the wires are not connected in the bottom. So I do have the original seats if someone wants to get those redone. Yeah, I think that's it for that. Okay, as far as spare pits, I got a set of Hybach Pro Kit lowering springs, which I never got around to putting in. Those will go with it. I got factory service manual, a Hayes aftermarket. Those are the little pads where the dead pedal foot. The little Nissan badge goes on the trunk. This is the original console. Throw that in the garbage probably. A set of front and rear serviceable brake pads. There's that piece of steel I was going to use. An extra gasket. Some seat stuff. I pulled that third brake light out of a junkyard. I don't know if it works. I haven't got around to doing that. I got some extra bushings for the sway bar links or something. Some miscellaneous trim, spark plugs, an extra throttle body. Original headlights. I have Silver Star, Phillips Silver Stars in there now. Here's the original fuel injectors that came out of it. Some buttons. These are the old crankshaft position sensors. I think that's the camshaft sensor. Oil filter. That's, I think, a coolant temperature sensor. And this is the original fuel pressure sensor, just in case. That's it for those. I will show you the seats I have as well. Oh yeah, can't forget the fuel filler door. Fuel filler door. Oh yeah, I forgot the radio, CD player. Still has the original Bose speaker system in it. They told me I couldn't get any more boost out of this particular double din because of the Bose system. You'd have to change the amps and everything else. So it's got whatever power it had originally. It's fine with me. The thing works great. And the antenna, up and down she goes. And got a nice little video about replacing that as well. Yeah, another thing I forgot were the windows. Back windows. And of course you saw the front windows work. Okay. Sunroof and yuck, that rusty part on the sunroof. Okay, whatever. Okay, here are the original seats. All the motors were working on it, both of them. Everything was fine other than the way they looked. And how did they look? Well, that's how they look. Passenger and driver. There you have them. Go along with it. Just couldn't make myself throw them away because you never know, just someday, just in case. Alright, I don't have a lift, so I'm going to have to try to do this like this. Okay, so looking under. I don't know if any problems, but let's turn it out. I don't know exactly everything because it's been sitting around. Poor baby. Just clean those wheels too. Man. Bought those lowering springs because I thought I had a problem in the back or somewhere. I'd go over the railroad tracks and it would kick to the right. The back end would kick out. And it took me a while. I finally realized what the heck would do that. Oh, I knew what tipped me off is that it got to where I would accelerate, it would pull to the left. A decelerate would jump back to the right. Of course, when it pulled to the left, I'd turn it to the right to straighten it up and then you let go. Turned out to be the bushings on this right lower control arm were shot and gone. So that the whole front end was twisting. Every time you accelerated. Okay, on we go. Alright, what else can I think of? The air conditioning was working. Of course, that's been a while. Probably, I would assume something's going to have to be done with that. The cruise control works. Jeez, everything was working. I was getting it back to where everything was ready to go. And then this. Alright, I said all four tires are shot. Brake drums, brake rotors are shot. The brakes themselves are probably alright. But that'll be up to whoever. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, as a final addendum, I'm just going to go over real quick all the items that were replaced on this since I've had it. And I made a mistake. Apparently I drove this till December of 2014, not 2012, which makes more sense. So got about 10,000 miles a year on it, I guess, when I was doing that. So anyway, when I first got it, I went and bought an owner's manual and the factory service manual. I probably bought the aftermarket one first and then realized I could find a factory maintenance manual for it. And I was told the clutch is done 4 years before that. I corrected myself. When I first got it, I thought when I first got it, so I guess it was about 6 months in, I put new tires on. I bought some struts on there left drive shaft was gone. Apparently they changed the power steering pinion as well. Changed the crankshaft position sensor. I said I've changed the oil now. I imagine I did it a few times in there, in the 30,000 miles, but at least once I slick 50 did it. I'm familiar with that. I do that to all things. Basically, summer's here and the winds are blowing. So, new hood struts in 2011. Everything that's got a date on here I have a receipt for. And put new headlights in it. There weren't LEDs back then, so that was the hottest ticket. New radiator, new thermostat, new alternator. And in July I went ahead and got the new stereo with the cell phone gizmo in it, and had the windows tinted. And I didn't mention it, it looks like in that video, but it looks like the window tint in the back window, I'm sure you noticed, is peeling down from the top, sitting out in the sun all this time. So in 13 I had new brake rotors on it, but of course they're shot now. So, and I had an issue with cruise control. It turned out to be a little rubber bumper on the brake pedal that, if it wasn't released all the way and holding that switch in, you can't use cruise control. So basically when you touch the brake pedal, that's what releases that switch and kicks it out for you. So that's what was changed there. New brake master cylinder, left rear wheel bearing and hub at 186, so about 10,000 miles ago. I got the instrument panel bulbs, and I think I changed like 7 of them. I think there's some spares in there too. And then once we figured out the issue with the front end sliding all over the place, we changed both the front lower control arms and the right hand axle because it was leaking a little bit. Then put a new fuel pump in it. I ended up going to the junkyard to get those seats. Like I said, if I had any brains I would have bought the back seats as well. However, it is possible that the back seat that matches those is sitting over in the Clearwater LQK lot. As I don't know who's going to buy the back seats without the front seats. Not sure. And changed the knock sensor, the ignition switch, the camshaft position sensor because it was leaking oil. Went and got some fog lights, used at a junkyard, power antenna, a little 12-volt power socket, new spark plug, the PCV valve, air cleaner, intake hose, a knock sensor, both crankshaft position sensors. I think I did that knock sensor like 3 times without even using the thing because I lost track. Also put a fuel pressure regulator on, changed the fuel filter, did the valve cover gaskets, and that's when I started having issues. I'm not exactly sure what the deal was. I've read somewhere that if you jump start your car, you can damage the ECU. I don't know what the deal was. I'm sure I've had that the battery ran down on me over the years or whatever, and that's why I put a new battery in 21. Not really sure, but I do know the ECU was corrupted when I finally had it checked out. Unfortunately, the timing chain somewhere in there also went. So then did the radiator bushings, and of course the fuel injectors and the batteries and wiper blades and all that stuff, and that's when they told me my engine was toast. So in the earlier in the video I showed the spare parts, the lowering springs, the original seats. I got another throttle body somewhere, a new oil filter which I never got to use, the original ejectors, and just some of the other stuff that I took out. Now it's possible that those crank position sensors and the knock sensor, I think the knock sensor is probably new anyway. Center mounted brake light, I said I don't think mine works. Can't say absolutely that one works either. Never got around to putting it in. It was a real pain in the butt trying to change those out. So anyway, so that's about a wrap on that. Like I said, it's a heartbreaker, but time for a change in the guard, I guess. I hope somebody will get some several years of enjoyment out of this thing. I absolutely love it. I think they're gorgeous. Just that's what happens sometimes.